Okay. Hello. 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 So, as you guys, oh gosh, okay. As you guys can see, I am on Zoom. But welcome, welcome, welcome. So welcome to another episode of Four Sessions. I apologize if my glasses look a little foggy, um, cause you know I can't find my cleaning cloth thing. Clearly, I don't use it enough, so just I'm squinting. That's why. Welcome to another episode. I hope you guys had a great week. I can say that now because it's the end of the week. Normally, when I do the show, it's kind of like early to mid-week. So I'm kind of like, hope you guys have a great week, but it's only Monday. But it's Friday, right? Yeah, Friday. So yeah, definitely hope you guys had a great week. Um, so as I mentioned last week, I'm gonna keep this intro short because you know I can go on. As I mentioned last week, that I wanted to have you. I was trying to, I should say. No, let me rephrase that. I'm wanting to have more guests on the show, virtually. I haven't gotten to the point yet where I want to do it in person yet because, COVID and, I'm just not at that level of comfortability yet. Um, wanting to have more guests on. And for the past couple of weeks, I've had some guests on. I had Lavinia on last week, which that episode aired yesterday, Wednesday, yesterday, here we go. um, Thursday. And we talked about, working out, fiancés, hobbies, personal jobs, spiritual walk, having self-confidence, just a whole smorgasbord of things. Definitely check that out. That's out. Episode 45, mantras, smorgasbords, and consistency. We just have like girl talk, basically, still tea and things like that. And before that, after that, I had Faye on. We discussed, being a design artist, hobbies as well, what made her want to go down this journey and things like that. So I'm trying to get different backgrounds on the show versus just me just always talking for hours and hours and hours. So I try to have music artists, graphic design artists, poets, creative minds, fitness, God walking people, things like that. So I'm slowly trying. Like I said before, I'm still new to this whole podcast thing. And when I first started doing this, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. So I kind of just talked, I kind of just talked about different aspects and things that I went through, experiences that I've gone through, and how I cope with it, and my ways to deal with it. But I see now having another person on, gives you a different perspective on things, gives two heads better than one, that saying. And I think it's a cool process because you get to pick each other's brain and kind of bounce ideas off each other, as well as getting to know other people and getting to know other, creative minds and things like that. So I think that's a cool, beautiful thing. So for this week, I have another special guest, even though all my guests are special, but I have another special guest. And I'm not going to rant anymore, so I will just let him, um, tell you what it is and things like that. Because if I keep talking, it will be the whole show. So again, I'm new to this, joining meetings, having people on, things like that. So hopefully I don't mess it up. So let me see if I can invite him in because like I said, I'm new. And here we go. So, okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Okay.
Good, good.
So I was just ranting for 5 minutes, which is new for me because I can talk for hours. Just trying to introduce you, but I didn't say too much. I'll let you speak, and just telling the viewers kind of where my head is at, what I'm trying to do, and things like that. So before I keep talking, I'm gonna let you speak, and just say a little about yourself. I kind of didn't really have a topic for this week because I kind of just wanted to be like like a creative, organic flow. So we'll just
Okay.
go with it. I try not to have a topic until I just start talking. I know it sounds weird, but I feel like it doesn't just stay in one conversation, at least with me. So it kind of goes a little quickly. So
So pretty much let me just introduce myself, right? Right. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The delay. Go ahead.
So I am a photographer and filmmaker. I'm also a writer as well. I've been I started, in the industry with my own magazine in 2013, and it got published in 2014. So it's self-published, and I've been doing photo shoots around the state and around the United States, and I've been traveling back and forth. My work is very it's like a dark, beautiful nightmare. That's how I describe my work. And honestly, it's like I love doing it, but I transitioned to doing film because I just like to see the motion of like my ideas on screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. So, um, did you always, I know it sounds like a silly question, but did you always know that you wanted to do photography? That's like a
I
beautiful phrase.
I loved art as
Like,
a whole. I just didn't think that I would take. I was taking pictures, but it wasn't professional. I was just taking pictures of just environment. I actually like taking landscape pictures opposed to just doing portraits, which most people see. That's
mm,
how I actually really started. So, kind of getting into it, like I've always liked photography, but making it a career, I never saw that one coming. So I'm also a graphic designer as well. So when I was transitioning into photography, being a graphic designer kind of helped me, like
yeah.
especially like editing and making the colors pop and learning composition. That all helped me. So I feel like each craft that I kind of like, I guess, trained myself in, it kind of helped the other, um,
Oh, spectrum.
like yeah, other skill that I had, and it's like kind of hand in hand.
So, did you go to school for photography? And I'm not going to send every question around, but I just want to get like the generics out. So, did you go to school for photography, or kind of just?
I did, but it wasn't honestly. It didn't help at all. I had a color theory class that helped, and it was non-photography related. That one
Right.
helped me a lot, but my photography professors really didn't help at all. They just I asked some questions. They just gave me a book. I was like, "What am I paying y'all for? If y'all can help me, I'm asking for advice." So I actually was self-taught. So I would say YouTube University. That's what helped me with photography a long time. I actually met one of my like the I guess I want to say YouTube mentors
Hmm.
at a job that I was working at years ago. And it was a photography store, and he actually started to work there. I was like, "Yeah, I've been watching you, and you helped me be who I am today." And he was like, "Oh man," so it was pretty dope.
Oh, that's really cool. So I know you work with Joe with Jersey Media, and you also work with Joe with 𝘨𝘂𝗍𝘂𝗏. So I kind of mentioned that before, but I'll let you explain it because he was on like a month ago on here, and we talked about that and things like that. And I've been on his show, et cetera, et cetera. So, which is great. I love it. He has an actual studio, and you have an actual studio. I just have, my laptop and this. But
That's how you start. That's how you gotta start.
I'm trying, so don't mind the background. But my question is, how did that start? I mean, he explained it and your connection, how you guys met and things like that. So um, I know you enjoy doing that. I know you do your own thing. I know you guys collab and you have other people on the show as well, other hosts on the show like that. So basically, like, how did you guys meet? How did that process there, if you agree, kind of,
So
I mean,
how
not really
that
with it, but you know what I mean, like the
yeah.
different things.
So pretty much, so I've been going to school with Joe since middle school, so we go
Oh, okay.
back way back, and I was drawing, he was drawing, and that was like how we connected in middle school. He was always the same cat in terms of always like he always likes to promote and help others and whatnot, and he will always be like, if you do something dope, then he'll give you props and be like, yo, that's awesome. Like he was always like that in middle school. So then in college, once people graduated from high school, everybody separated, and then I bumped into him when I went to like Bergen Community College, and great school by the way.
Yeah.
uh so I bumped into him, and he was working there, and I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" I was like, "It was a long time no see," and we started chatting it up, and I think we added each other more so on Facebook really.
Oh, okay.
And then I was doing the magazine, and then he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "Yo, I got a podcast called Therapy Without a Degree. I would love to have you on there and like kind of, talk about your projects."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So we chatted up, was on the podcast and whatnot, and it was dope. He wanted to bring me back, but then he also started doing Wings and Vision,
Oh, yeah.
which I always tell him, like, you gotta bring that back. And what he did was he would to invite somebody to come through, help them with their vision, and he would offer to buy the wings, and it would be always like at the Applebee's.
Yeah.
So with me, I was like, yeah, I'm trying. I need help with a vision board because maybe I'm not seeing things clearly, because I felt like I was at a plateau.
Mm.
Especially with the magazine and just where I wanted to be just as a whole. So we sat down, we mapped it out. We had like visual pictures and whatnot. And literally a few months after that meeting, I went to LA, and that was part of the mood board. And I haven't been there since 2001, and
Yeah.
also wasn't on a plane since then either.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went by myself, which was, I have a thing with heights anyway, but like I went there, um, and it was an amazing experience. And then I believe he didn't have any other host at the time, so it was just him doing the podcast. So then I was helping him out. So initially, I was just helping him out, record, and kind of just take some behind the scenes shots and whatnot. And then eventually, I became part of it as well. So I was like the co-host. And then eventually, kind of more episodes went by, and then I became like one of the main hosts.
Mm.
And that's been going on for years. So it's like stuff like that you just kind of forget. And we just had some wild topics that we talked about,
Look at that.
and we had call-ins, and it was just, honestly, it was just comedy. But it was more therapeutic for me because I guess I didn't talk too much, because I would talk maybe when I was doing the photo shoot, but at home I was just silent. So I didn't really talk. But then doing the podcast, you had to
Yeah.
talk. Yeah, that was it. And mind you, I don't have a problem talking. I could talk for days. It was just that now I could talk with a reason and just kind of I could start a conversation and then kind of just keep on going, because I'm very introverted, so I kind of just stay to myself. But in a public environment, it's like, all right, I'll talk, and then I'll disappear when the parties start, getting popping and whatnot, and then I kind of just fade into the corner where the food is. You know what I'm saying?
I was actually about to ask, are you more of an introvert expert? Because I'm an introvert. So even doing this, even though, it's not in person, it's still, you're still like looking at me. So even
Right.
doing my show live, because before I wasn't doing it live, I was just doing the audio version because I'm terribly, terribly afraid of public speaking and people staring at me. So it's kind of helped my confidence a little bit. I'm still shy, even when I'm prepared to do this. But for you, since you're more of an introvert, are you like introvert all the way to the left or kind of like in the middle? I know you said it depends on the situation, what you're doing. And I feel like if you're doing something that's like your passion or you genuinely enjoy, and the company, the vibe, and the energy, I feel like it's a little bit easier. But for me, it's not at all. Even if I'm around somebody or doing something I love, I'm just like over here. And I just prefer that way. I'm not really what is it, a center of attention type of person. Even though people think I
Right.
am, like, I'm so shy. Like I'm a Leo, but I'm not weird. Like just so it's like a long question, but are you more, like I say, you more of an introvert over here? Or are you kind of like in the middle, introvert,
I'm
extrovert?
I could turn it on and off. It honestly depends on I guess my mood and whatnot. But yeah, I could be let's see. I could probably be an introvert when I'm by myself and like working on stuff like photography or film stuff, or if I just need time to myself, I'll disappear and then that's it. But then when I have work, I do a lot of weddings,
Yeah.
so I have to be that extrovert that's like, yeah, come on, yeah, I love it, love it. I'm just like, I don't even do that, so I'm pretending to be a character that I'm not. So Zain is a character, and that's like my alias. So I'm just becoming that, and like, yeah, oh, awesome, awesome, and and do shoots. And people who know me, who model with me, I did it one time with them, and they start laughing because they know damn well I don't be doing that at no shoot. And I'm like really quiet, but I still talk. Like I talk, but I'm not like, yeah, I'm about doing backflips on the wall, taking pictures and whatnot. So I've learned over the years to turn it on and off, especially like I used to like in the beginning, I used to like set up and not talk to the model. It'd just be silent. And I think I was playing music, I don't know, but it's just awkward. Just some random dude, just like, I mean, granted, you just met, and then you're doing a photo shoot, and they're just quiet as hell. And then you don't even show them the pictures either. So it's just like, like so after, you learn, you're like, just give them a little preview, start talking to them, ask them how the day was, and like little stuff like that. So it helped my communication skills. But I'd be looking back in the beginning, I was just laughing. I was like, wow, man, you came a long way,
That's progress. That's progress. I wish I could say the same thing. I can't, because I used to do fashion styling when I was in school. Now, I mean, those were ages ago, but not really. I'm not that old, no. But and for fashion, it's kind of like an out there type of event or type of function. And for me, we would have to do projects. We have mood boards, same thing, and vision boards. And I would have to, showcase that, and you have to explain design and the drawing. I'm not very good at drawing, but I can do like, little stick figures. So I would just freeze, but I would just try to have the portrait or have the painting or whatever it is kind of do the talking for itself. So I would just be like, look at this, don't look at me, look at this, and this tells everything. But over the years, I kind of went from fashion design to costume design to the business side of fashion to now music and now podcasts and then doing the book. So it's kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to stay in the area of, I'm trying to try new things that kind of get me out of my comfort zone. So say I tried it, like doing the show or now doing the music or, writing the book and all this other stuff. So for me, it's still a process, but I'm having fun. That's what I've been trying to
right.
think.
Like, that's the most important part.
Yeah, because I kind of overthink a lot of things. And I'm like, what if I do this? Nobody likes it. Or what if I do this and nobody likes this or reads this? So I'm just like, let me just do it because I have something to say. And if it reaches, one person, then I made that person say. And that's how I'm trying to look at it, even with the podcast, because I'm new to doing it. And social media is a bitch. So I think like nobody likes me, nobody wants to see. I'm more so trying to be like, this is fun. This is me doing my creative thing, and let me just have fun with it. So,
right.
So I commend you from going from A to Z. I'm still like on like C. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. But it's new because when I was growing up, all the things I would do would kind of be like quiet things. I would be reading or like drawing, or just watching movies and video games, being to myself. So when I got to college, it was like a whole new world because fashion, like I said, is like a loud activity. So I was just
right.
What am I doing? And everybody's so talented.
Do you still do it?
I should because I have a degree in it, but yet you're right. No, but
because I am looking for a stylist because I'm gonna be filming a project soon, probably towards the end of August, and I'm gonna be outsourcing because I'm gonna make it. Granted, it is a short film, but I want to actually involve. I want to involve more people in the project so that they could get some kind of credit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's good. What's the project on? Can you speak about it?
So yeah, I could talk about it. So I just finished writing the script and I'm getting the team together. So pretty much the concept is, I won't give away the ending, but the concept is pretty much a guy he's searching for the attacker, that someone who attacked his wife, but he's not letting his wife know that he's going out. So as far as she knows, he's going out to get the apple pie that she had requested, that send him out to the groceries, but in reality he's actually investigating and interrogating people, and his wife is doing some ominous stuff, and it's like it kind of goes into that. It's like, so he's out here finding the truth, but yet his wife is doing something completely opposite, but she seems to be a little too kind of calm for what happened to her a few days ago.
Oh, I like that. It's like a murder mystery thriller thing. That's
exactly cool. But it does start off and like she's in the bathroom and she has a bruise on her face, so, and it seems like to the audience it's like, oh, did he do it and whatnot, but then as the story plays out, it's just like this, wait, what? And that's kind of like the concept behind it, and the name of it is called The Hardest Part.
Oh.
So when that line is like kind of delivered, you can be like, oh shit.
That's so cool. I really commend you and everybody else who has like the extra vision. I always call it that. Like you have a vision, you have the creative minds, you have the artists, and you have the next level type people. So I'm like, I've always wanted to write a film. I've always wanted to like write a novel. Well, I did, but like a novel like that. But I would just be like,
Right.
I don't have anything to say. Like all my all my stories, because I like horror movies. It's the main thing. I can't watch them, but I love them. I don't like romantic movies. I love comedies, but like I'm more so like just no talking, just get to the action type thing. So all my stuff would be like on the dark side, and like people would be like, "Why is she so dark and so angry?" But I don't know. I just feel like it just get those type of stories just kind of get to the point. Like nothing wrong with like talking movies and la 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 and love, but it's just like I just want to see the action. Let me see what happens after you get past that part. But I don't know. I just think it's so cool what you guys do. You, Joe, everybody else. I just think that's so cool. So I'm trying to be like, just be like you guys. But I'm like, let me just be over here though on my corner. Um, but so for the stylist, would it be for the clothes or be
Yeah,
something?
it'd be mostly for the clothes. It'd be pretty much once I have like the mood board set up and whatnot, it'll kind of get a vibe.
Yeah,
Um the outfits, it's not like really particular because it's really like a detective,
right.
um but he's gonna be obviously in civilian clothes. But it's like I just to me, I just leave it up to the actor, and I just kind of show him like what kind of vibes and whatnot. But
Yeah,
like if I could give the opportunity for someone to actually like, yo, that's your credit. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, especially, I do a lot of things solo,
right.
and granted, I'm blessed to have people help me out, but I can't see my name but so many times. Is what I'm
I
saying.
get it.
Sometimes I don't even put my name on certain things because it's just like there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that I do, and I don't want to just see just like my name just scrolling down. So I kind, so I just kind of leave it up to the imagination of people and that. But I want to give people a chance, and if you want to style on this
I
project,
would
just let me know.
I would love to. I'm not like out there because I haven't been doing it for a while, but
Me neither. So anything better than me is a plus.
I mean, I do enjoy it. Because the reason why I got into fashion was because I used to be plus size. I guess they call it fat when you're younger, but I used to be plus size now. And I would get so frustrated because when I went to shop, there would be no clothes that would fit me. I mean, there would be some areas, but it would be like the weirdest looking clothes like in the back of the mall that nobody wanted to go to. And it would just frustrate me because the shopping was so tedious. I just went to online shopping. But you can't really do online shopping for clothes, at least for me, because you want to try it on and be cute and all this other stuff. And I wanted to do fashion for the plus size girls, the beautiful girls. And I wanted to be a personal stylist for them because I would know the struggle it was to grow up and tease because I was quiet. I don't like confrontation. I don't like yelling. I'm not that type of person. So I knew what it was like. So that was kind of like the motive and incentive to go into fashion to do that. But you know how it is when you go to school, you kind of know what you want to do and you don't, and you end up with this random degree just to say you have it. And then it just sits in your shelf. So I'm like, that's what I'm doing and paying all this student debt. But I,
Yeah, fun stuff.
I still do have a passion, that sounds cheesy, passion for fashion, but I just don't know what area, the drive kind of just diluted. I don't know what happened. I used to be so excited to do fashion and drawing and designing and styling and jewelry, but now I'm just like, when I see fashion, I'm just like, oh, but I don't know where that came from because literally I love fashion. I love the dolls. I would be dressed the dolls, cut their hair up and style them. But now I'm just like, I want to do the podcast, but I guess I haven't found like the niche of what it's supposed to be centered around. So that's why kind of my episodes are kind of, all over the place. I haven't really pinpointed like a specific topic every week to talk about, but I mean, if you give me a little chance, I can do like one design or style one person and just be like, this is my little thing. That's okay. I know I'm kind of like downing on myself, but it's just, I have talent, but I guess I haven't like
Explored them.
explored it. Yeah. And my mom's like, why did you stop doing fashion? You're so good. I guess I'm a big critique on myself because, being shy, not being that confident, being the tall one in the class, the bigger one in the class kind of like shatters that. And since I was so quiet and, didn't really get along with people, not that I was like rude or mean, just I wasn't the type of person to like walk up to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? I'm more of like, I'm over here. You can talk to me if you like. If not, that's cool. Kind of like made me feel like, I didn't really have like a voice when it came to things that is fashion, because fashion is so interesting and it's kind of
Right.
like, if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you don't look like this, you can't, whatever. So, I mean, things are being broken now, which is pretty cool. I think that's still, they're involving a lot of people, a lot of diverse and things like that. But it's still that stigma of, if you don't look like a pencil, you can't be a model. You don't look like this. But the other reason why I really love your work, because I, kind of like mini stalk your stuff, is you kind of showcase, like you said, different, what's the word, phrase? It's not different avenues, just your portraits, your photos, your photography, the finished product. There we go. I'm losing my train of thought. The finished product to me feels like when I look at it, it's always like I can see myself being there. If that makes sense. Like
No, that
it's
makes sense.
that makes sense. It's not like the one way of how somebody should look. It's just like different, like different curves, different looks. You could be like, this could be you. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. It was
Right.
like looking up, saying,
No,
"Oh,
I'm glad that you
that
you
makes
you
sense."
identified with that, because I don't want it to be like, oh, you have to look like this. It was never that. I was like, whoever wanted to work, I was like, let's do this. I didn't have any particular like, oh, you need to be like this. What I am particular on are people who are reliable,
Right,
and what I'm saying, that's what I'm particular on. Like, don't say, because there's a lot of people that might fit that. Oh yeah, this is the ideal looking model, and then they don't follow through.
right.
I would pick someone who is reliable opposed to someone who's not. Like, I have no problem just like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna make that work. I'm gonna make someone who's reliable work. How
Yeah,
about that? That's
yeah.
that's what I'm going for.
So do you, what's the question? When you do are you one of those people like me who, like, after you do, like, say, like, when I do an episode, I watch it like a million times and like critique myself, like, oh, I should have not said that, or I should be looking this way, or like, why am I so fidgety, or like, looking at your finished product, you're like, oh, this could have turned out better. Are you more so like, I gave it 150% and I like how it is? Not that you don't check the work, obviously, but like, are you like me, who's like neurotic and like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that. This could have been longer. This could have been shorter. It's just because I guess I've always just been so hard on myself when it comes to things that's out of my norm, out of my character, so to speak. So I'm like, if I critique myself to the point where I convince myself that it's great, I'll be okay. Does that make sense? I know some people
No,
crazy.
that makes sense. What I usually do is I'm very critical. I'm like very heavily critical on myself. But what I do is I've been, I think by the time I did the magazine, I had like a better state of mind and how to appreciate my work. So what I ended up doing is I'm happy what I put out there, because I know I put the best out there when I did it.
Right,
It's just the next time I do it, I say, all right, you got to go harder,
right.
or you
Okay.
need to change the angles for next time. Like, you could do this shoot maybe again, but now that you know what you need, or you said you needed like a diffuser for like one of the shots when you're heavy in the sunlight, you know what I'm saying? Like, then bring that out next time,
Hmm.
and then so that way you have no excuse to why you made the same mistake twice. Just now it's just like there's like more preparation. It's like, oh, you felt like you had no ideas. Well, how long did you sit with the mood board that you've created? Did you study it properly? Did you take notes? All right, so for next time, take some notes so that way you don't have to constantly pull out your phone. Oh,
Right.
your phone died, and you had all your concepts on there. Well, next time, bring a portable charger with you. There's so many things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elements that people kind of miss out on, and it's definitely needed. Like, I had an assistant, and she had my mood board, and instead of me pulling out my phone all the time, she was like, "All right, she saw that I did that pose. All right, we're gonna do this one next." That was extremely helpful.
Yeah.
But when you do it by yourself, you take your phone out, you got to have the page already ready to go. The moment you
Right.
click on that phone, all right, let me just look for the next pose and go to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Or, all right, we're going to do a session for 1 minute. We're just going to freestyle,
Yeah.
and do some different poses and whatnot. And I usually pose with the model. So I pose first, and
Yeah.
then they pose after me. It makes them more comfortable when I do the pose,
Mhm.
regardless of my gender. As long as they feel confident. I tell them,
Right.
like, listen, if I could kill this pose, you could kill this pose. All right, I think you could do it. So then they're like, oh yeah, that's funny, and they look at me like they look at me with more confidence, because
Right.
I'm able to perform with them, opposed to just do that.
Yeah.
You know, because some people are visual learners,
Yeah.
and
That's
some people might be audio learners, which is great. But like, I have to like, I teach as well, so it's
yep.
like I know like I'm a visual learner, so
Yeah.
I need you to physically do it
Yeah.
and then show me what I'm doing right or wrong. You know, but sometimes you can't always feed that need of insecurity, but you always gotta kind of, there's like a moderation because you don't want to make it seem like they have to rely on all the poses.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have to kind of be confident to do it themselves. So that's why, especially with new models, I introduce like the 1 minute freestyle. It's
Mm.
just like, yeah, just do whatever. Don't worry. It's gonna. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
You know, and that those little sessions add up. You know,
Mm.
because I do it at least maybe 3 or 4 times within the time that we're there. So in total, like 4 minutes of them doing it by themselves, to the point where it just incites more confidence in them to just be more freeform. Because most of the time I'll get amazing shots out of the freeform, and that's not out of any of the poses. I use the poses as a means of structure,
Right. Right.
and then once they do it like that, they're like, oh, I now see myself in the picture doing that, so I can model now. Okay, so that means that you're more confident to do something new.
Yeah. No, I like that. You kind of leading into like what I wanted to say. So, how do you? Was like a two in one question because for me, like I said, I wanted to model at a point, but like I said, was very shy. But I felt like I had something to say. I was a little bit of a brat growing up, allegedly. I don't believe it, but that's what they tell me. But like I said, I'm very tall. I was always taller than everybody in my class. Like I said, I was, a bit bigger. And I would go to, I guess they would call them casting calls. I don't know if they still do that now or whatever, open calls or something like that. And the confidence, I guess I would have to like psych myself up because I would be in the room with models who, looked like back then, it wasn't no Kylie Jenner, but, looked like that or thin and blonde and blue eyes and stuff. And I would be like the odd girl, normally the only Black girl there most times would be like these odd different girls. And I would have to build myself up. And when you said that you would do the freestyle shots, I would always freeze up because I think it was called something else then, but they would want you to like loosen up and look here and pose here and smile here. But I guess my question is like when you're working with the models, I know you do the freestyle, but like have you ever worked with somebody who's just like, I can't do this, even though you're kind of giving me a little boost, a little shot of confidence here and there? Because not that I couldn't do it, I guess I would just be so nervous and I would be so shy that I couldn't, I guess, break out of that shell because I would feel like if once I broke out of that shell, now I'm vulnerable, and I didn't really know how to work with that, being vulnerable, letting people in, past that barrier that we always have. And still to this day, it's hard for me to kind of let that people get in past that point. So it's not really a question, more like a statement, I guess. But
No, so in that case, right, where someone's like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. I know the poses that you have there for me. Most of, I would say, for photography for me, about 75%, if not 80%, is all conversation.
Okay.
So I'm mostly doing a lot of talking with them, and I'm capturing candid moments. And I usually tell people, because some people, it's also what's the word, intimidating, the lens, especially the camera. The camera as a whole is very intimidating, especially when you have lights and setups and all that. What I tell people is look away from the camera, and I tell them like, oh, we're gonna go through emotions. We're gonna think of something happy. Like we just go through, is it happy, sad, and angry, right? And I kind of go through the emotions, and I have them not look at the camera and kind of look off to the side, and then I take pictures as they go.
Oh.
And when I show them to like, oh wow, a lot of people especially who are nervous, they don't like the way they look into the lens.
Yeah.
And to them, they it's like they're looking into their soul, and you obviously know what you see in your soul, so it kind of makes them feel uneasy because not a lot of people, especially when they start off modeling, know how to work with their eyes. Like, ooh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the smiles with the eyes. But if you're looking like this, you know that, damn, I look like I'm bugged out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're afraid of. That's why they don't like it. So if you tell them to look away from the camera, I can't be doing this elsewhere. But if I'm looking at the camera for some reason, I'm just gonna be doing this. So that's the difference. But I usually tell people, don't look at the camera. We're gonna go through emotions. I'm having conversations with them. Tell me about a time where you did this, and and I obviously I tell them, oh yeah, just position your body this way. And then as they're having the conversation, and then I snap the pictures, the in between. You know what I'm saying? That's the process with that. But it takes time. I don't expect anybody to just straight out the gate. They look at the pose and then all of a sudden they're killing it.
Yeah.
That's why I usually have my sessions at 2 hours. Mainly for them to, if I said 30 minutes for a new model, they would lose their damn mind.
Yes, that would.
You know what I'm saying? But 2 hours is enough for you to change. It's enough for you to kind of relax. No one's rushing anybody.
No.
If you get the shots, you get the shots. You know what I'm saying? As long, and I don't tell people like how many shots we're getting. It's just, we're going to keep on shooting until the time is up. Whatever we get, we get. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no expectations. You did the best that you can do at this moment, and obviously for the next time, you only can get better. And it's like a philosophical approach with a lot of pleasantry, just to kind of get them more confident. Like, oh, I want to come back again to do this, because people who shoot me, they say, oh, I have an amazing time, everything's cool, relax. And I always play music as well. I play like house music. Like I have people already now. Anyone who shot with me, they go and they listen to that mix, and it's called 𝘨𝘂𝗵𝘀𝗵𝘂. He has Hail Deep Radio, and I listen to that regularly, especially when I do like my editing work. And it's like the tempo is house, so it gets them, gets them moving. You know what I'm saying? And then they sometimes they just be dancing and whatnot. I was like, yes, dance, relax. Like you gotta shake off the nervousness and the anxiety, and then we take some dope pictures and whatnot. And I show them a little sneak peek of what they look like. Oh my God, it's so dope. I was like, this is not even edited yet. Like, oh my God. So yeah, a lot, like I said, a lot of it is communication, and making sure that they feel comfortable, because if they feel uneasy, then I have to work harder and making them feeling a little easier and more comfortable, because then it will show in the pictures.
So have you ever had a model or somebody you worked with who kind of was like, I don't say like a dick, but like, it's always that one that is
like a diva and an asshole or something like that.
Or even show up. I know you said reliability is huge, which I understand that too.
If here's the thing, my policy is for me personally, if you go on a date and the person doesn't show up, no call, no show.
I've been there.
And then they post on Instagram.
Oh goodness. Literally my life, you're just explaining it.
Right. We've already agreed on the day and the time, and you didn't show up, right? So that just shows character.
True.
And if you have no respect for a person's time and not even let them know, then you just walked into the blacklist, and that's on you. You know what I'm saying? And there are people who have been in the blacklist and they can get out of the blacklist, obviously if they mature, but it's not like a permanent thing, but you go into the blacklist and I just don't work with you. And then that's it. Because I have models who did that multiple times. I got to the point, this years that used to bother me. I got to the point where it's, oh yeah, I want to do a shoot at this blah, blah, this time. If you canceled once, I'm still at home. I'm like this. Oh, you on your way? Oh, okay. I didn't. What you call? And sometimes I'll just drive to the location. I'll just be in my car, and I'll just wait. Oh, I can't make it because my grandma died twice. Apparently, what? You this like the excuses. Like you only got 2 of those. Like you really got 2. If you tell me like 3 times, like now you just insulting my intelligence at this point. So I just wait in my car and they give me some bullshit and I just drive off, go home, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? I call it a day and I just don't work with you again. Like you only get like 2 chances. One, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But but I only give you a benefit of doubt if you contact me. If you don't contact me, I'm just not working with you again. But if
Yeah.
you contact me, that's one. The second time, I'm all right. We can't. You're gonna have to pay it this time, because this people, I charge people for do shoots. They contact me, but if it was like free from the jump, let's
Yeah.
trade. TFP trade for print, and you didn't show up, and the second time, and you gave some excuse. Obviously, my time, like I could have booked that time with somebody else. This is a full-time job for me,
Yeah.
so you could go. I don't have to work with you. That's cool. That's it. That's how it works. Clients who I have that show up that are rude, I try to be as professional as I can, because some people, they test my patience, and I have to realize that I'm the only one in customer service. So I have to approach the situation as professional as possible, and I just have them explain what their concerns are. And I was like, what's the problem? And they'll, oh well, blah blah, this that, and the third, and this that, and that, and you just like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I hear them out, and then I say my 2 cents. If they cut me off, all that, I say, I think we're done for today. You know what I'm saying? Or if sometimes they'll be confused, and it's just like, all right, let's talk about this, and move past this. So it's like, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of communication involved, but you can't get so emotional, especially in the beginning. If you're starting in the beginning, you can't just wall out on the client. Like, even after, even if you're right, you just still can't wall out on them. And they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to like come to Zen with yourself and understand, if you do that, what are the chances of them coming back? What are the chances of them paying you? People will only pay you if they like you. If they don't like you, you're not gonna get paid. That's just how it works. So my cousin had told me that, and it didn't click in. Even if you're amazing, like your work is stellar and this, that, and the third, if that person doesn't like you, they're not going to pay you. That's it. But that's why people always like they kiss ass, or they have to be likable and this. The reason why they do that is because they know I'm not giving them any reason not to pay me, because I'm a likable dude or a likable gal. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? So that's the method. So when you're dealing with a client that's like bugging out, I had clients that bugged out. I handled it where I needed to handle it, and then they wanted to be my client and they want to pay me again, because of the way I responded to them. Now, that's what you got to keep in mind. Like, and also sometimes if you feel as a person, and the money is great, but if the client's being disrespectful, then you could be like, listen, I can refer you to somebody else, but I can't I can't book you. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you book me? Honestly, I feel like the chemistry is off, and in order for me to do my job and help you get you what you need, it needs to be, kind of balanced. And I feel like there's a lot of imbalance in there, and I don't want to do you any disservice. It's never, you see how you kind of like, I want to help you out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I won't be in the right headspace if I'm disrespected, to give you the work, and then that's it.
I like that. It's very mature. I need to take some tips from you.
It is tough, especially when they're walling out and you're just like, you don't know who I am. You don't understand. Like, you're talking too much. To the point where you can get popped. And you're just like, I can't do that. So that's it takes patience, but it's worth it in the end, because especially when you have like kids and whatnot, and they be bugging out, and you want to be the adult when you're older and be like, let me listen to them, hear them out, and then let's kind of distress the situation before it gets any worse, and then go from there. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, these clients, sometimes the ones that are bad, it's like big kids acting up. And they've gotten their way their entire life by acting like that. But sometimes you could resolve that by kind of holding your ground, being respectful, and then eventually they'll realize themselves, oh shit, I bugged out, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I've seen people, they realize that I'm so calm, and they're like, and they have so much energy, and they're like, yo, I don't know, I'm really sorry that I did that. Like, but the thing is, if I do that, then sometimes they do that because they know the other person gonna do that too.
Yeah, that's true.
You
I
know,
think
it's like tit for tat. So they got so hyped already, addressing something that concerns, no, thinking that other people that aren't like kind of trained like that is gonna bug out on them.
yeah.
You know, I was like, no, it's not like that over here. We don't have to do that.
Glad you mentioned that. I have a question. I have a cousin who kind of has, I don't want to say mental issues. I never really liked that word. I'll just say unique qualities. And she is a person who always addresses things, like you said, at level 10, when you can just be asking a question. And in the past, like I said, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm more just like, I'll just sit here until you're done. And they will still keep going, going, going. And after a while, I would just learn to just not say anything. And eventually they'll calm down or just walk away and things like that. So my question is, how do you, I guess I can use the tips you just said, but like, it's like an ongoing thing. And after a while, it gets frustrating because when you're around this person, this is how they're going to be. So you don't want to be around that person. But at the same time, you can't get mad because they can't like control how they are because of their unique qualities. So I guess it's like, how do you handle somebody who's like that when you don't really understand why they're like that? Like there are people who just act out for no reason and just be extra, and then there are actual people who have these things and this way of thinking that's a little bit different.
I
And
just so what I would say is let them clear out the air and say what they have to say, and then you respond like, listen, so I heard what you said, but we're gonna have to, and that's when you explain your boundaries.
right,
Like if you want me to listen to you, we have to bring the volume here so I can help you out. I can better help you out. Because I deal with special needs kids. I was like a teacher's aide. And I would, these kids, they were something else. They sometimes they would get angry and they they bug out. But these are like mine, yeah, they're special needs, but they also kids too. So little things that might make them angry, I'm like, all right, let it out. Let it out. I just let them clear it out. I was like, cool. So before I can help you out, we're gonna have to bring the level down to here. All right. And then because most of the time it has nothing to do with schoolwork. Most times I might have to do something at home. So then I address that first, because if you don't address that first, they're not gonna listen to you.
yeah,
Like imagine you had a problem, right? And you're going off and whatnot, and then I'm like, yeah, I heard what you said, but you still gotta do this work.
I've been there and been told that.
So you dismissed my emotions, what I'm going through, to do a task that is still gonna not happen really, because you didn't address my emotional concern.
Right.
So you first, and that's what teachers, they want to do that, but then you have administration on their neck saying, yeah, you need to, your testing scores are low. So then you're conditioning teachers to dismiss emotional issues because it takes too much time, because I only have X amount of time with these kids in the classroom.
Right.
So I can't address all these kids' emotional concern, and then I got to teach them too. I'm only one person, which makes sense. It's like, it's not like there's multiple teachers in the room that could delegate all those kids. There's a lot of different emotions. But that's when the teachers aid, they kind of, that's the emotional police. They kind of go around and take care of that, so that way it helps the teacher kind of teach in the class. And now that I think about it, that's exactly what they want, because usually, especially special needs class, you have the teacher and the teacher's aide. Usually a teacher aide, any kid that has, I gotta talk to them or whatnot. Back in the day, it was just the teacher doing that. So now that there's more help and whatnot, you might have a class with 2 aides in the classroom. But essentially, once you address that issue, it makes kind of doing the task easier. Because, all right, I don't have, that's been resolved. Now I can focus on the work. In situation when you're talking with people, it's like, it might not have to, like, maybe I had a model that I guess she didn't like guys, mainly because there's a lot of predators that hide behind the camera. That's a very important that I had to say that. It's a lot of predators that hide behind the camera. I don't consider them a photographer. And these women, they come in from the gate, they just like, oh, blah, blah, this, that, and third. And like, like just it's like very aggressive or microaggressive. It's like, I didn't do anything. You don't know me. But because I'm a guy, it's like each guy that they see with a camera they associate with being a creep, or someone's like, oh, they take pictures and they want me to do something more. But it's like, I can't help that. But what I can do is I could introduce who I am to you from beginning to end, and then every time you come, that's what that's what you're gonna see, and that's what you're gonna get. But you have to address that in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to say, oh, I'm not like other people. You don't have to say that. You just kind of introduce yourself and then explain, like, oh, I play music in the background. If you need to change, there's a door over there, blah, blah. Like, you just kind of let them know the parameters. If they're changing or whatnot, then leave the room. Don't wait for them to ask you to leave the room. Like, it's like certain things like that. They remember, like, oh, okay, he doesn't obviously care. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have a shoot, for example, and the shoot is editorial, then don't try to make the shoot implied nude. If it wasn't discussed prior. If you're gonna listen, like, you have the editorial, you do what you gotta do, and then you mention, I was like, I have other projects that are like this. If you're interested, let me know. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't just try, oh, we doing editorial stuff, and all of a sudden now we have to get naked. Like, and that's what typically I hear stories on bullshit like that. So you really need to be clear on what you want from a person, and let them know in advance, and have that preparation, so that way people, they know, they're like, yo, okay, I know it's only going to be this. It's not going to be anything more. Right. That's it. If they want it then we set it up for another time, not today. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just because that it's a different process. It's a different lighting. It's a different environment. You can't just like, all right, let's get naked. Like, you know what I'm saying? And granted, I do have some work that's like that, but it's like all that stuff is usually like once a year, like once a month. I do like a boudoir session or whatnot. Okay. Because the moment I start doing that, like often, then they're gonna, oh, that's all you do. Like, I had one month, it was crazy. I had one picture, mind you, I do this once a year. There was like 17 pictures that were non-boudoir as the recent, and then the 17th one, or the 18th one, oh, I'm not gonna be getting naked. Did I say that? Like, the shoot was editorial. I was like, what were you talking about? This is the editorial shoot. You know that, right? It's not a boudoir session. Or I had a model who came in for a boudoir session, and then she decided, oh, I don't want to do like the boudoir lingerie stuff. Every inch of my body just said, I guess today's just not the day, because it didn't make any sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she contacted me, like, it just didn't make any sense. Like, you do know like what a boudoir session is, right? It's like, you can't just come in here like, oh, I want to shoot what I want to shoot. It's just that's just communication that you have to deal with. You're gonna have some highs, you're gonna have some lows. You just gotta, every time you have a new scenario, it's just teaching you how to better handle it.
Well, I'll give you the patience thing, because I couldn't deal with that. But I guess you have to have that in your line of work. I would just be like, get out. But I know you can't say that.
Right.
So just going back to the conversation about the teaching and teaching aid. You're a teacher now, you said, I heard you mention.
Yeah, I have my teaching credentials, but I haven't gone back.
Okay, but you're a teacher's aide now for special needs kids? Or is that just an example you?
Yeah, well, I was doing that, and then eventually I got my teacher's cert, so I could technically just teach a class and whatnot. Obviously approved by the school. Yeah. But I just haven't gone back. I just like the freedom of not hearing screams and BS and administration down your neck, and it's like all that stuff is anxiety. You talk about these kids losing their mind. Teachers are losing their mind. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody really thinks about the poor teachers.
No, they don't. The students have all this help in terms of like therapy, this and talking. Teachers, I clock out and then clock in. That's it. That's all y'all got. You don't get no. And we'll give you a dinner party maybe once a year or whatnot, and we'll still won't raise your pay, and we'll and you'll almost reach your 3 years for tenure, but
Mm.
we won't sign that contract. Like there's all so many different possibilities that can happen. You know, that's why you see teachers who have tenure act different.
Yes, yes, I have.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta be buddy buddy with your union at a school, because before the 3 years, before your tenure, you and your union, y'all ain't tight because they don't represent you. But after, when you get tenure, that's when y'all need to be buddy buddy.
That's crazy. And I understand it. That's just, I guess it's just how it works, right?
Right, it's just how it works. But like teaching stuff, I took that because I went to school for teaching too.
Mm.
So I took that and I brought it into like when I work with clients and
Mm.
kind of teaching them like about the process of what I'm doing, and how to, like, if you want to be a model, I teach you tips on what to do to better yourself as a model, not just like the performance wise, but also the business wise and the
Mm.
marketing wise. And those are things that they need to know. And I do offer like coaching. I have a model coaching class that I usually
Okay.
do. And I also help other photographers and filmmakers and like help people edit. So these are things that I do to help others, um, as well as obviously get paid, because
Yeah, right.
it's a
Everybody's
full-time job and whatnot. But essentially, like, these are the things that I do to kind of help people out. And I
yeah.
use that teaching skill to help out and make it easier to understand. Like, I could easily create like a curriculum, um, and or just like honestly a lesson plan for one person if I wanted
Mm.
to, just so that way they get from point A to point B.
Okay. I like that. So would you consider what you're doing, photography and magazine, all fun stuff? I guess it's like a weird, not a weird question. Let's stop saying that. As a career, hobby, job, or just to pay bills? You know, it's like a
I consider it an
probably consider.
expensive hobby. That's what I
Oh,
consider.
okay.
It's an expensive hobby. I do enjoy it. I do make money off it, but I don't really focus on the money like that. Like, as a business person, they'll say like, "Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? You got to obviously focus on the money." I really so what I do is, if you focus on the customer service and you focus on the actual content that you're creating
Mm.
and the people around you, the money will come. If you avoid that and just focus on the money will not come,
Mm.
because people will know that you're not even there for them, you're there for the money. So there's a happy balance that you need to do within yourself, is you need to kind of sit down with them. They have to know that you're there for them and not there for the money.
Mm.
And we humans, we know, we could
Really?
tell if someone's full of it or not. You know what I'm saying? There. So I used to work with cameras and sell cameras.
Mm.
I got paid hourly, but I also got commission. So I wasn't hungry that much. But if you wanted to know what was best for you, I would tell you the honest answer.
Mm.
And I asked like, what is your budget? They said, oh, my budget is this. Okay, I could find you a camera like this, but for what you want, you're gonna have to pay an extra 100 for
Mm.
this feature. That's it. And they're like, yeah, that's it. I was like, that's it. That's it. That's all. We don't have to go that far. Because I did that, they look for me,
Oh.
because I'm not here to say, oh yeah, you need this $2,500 camera. Yeah, just get it. Or I'd be like, yeah, well, I know your budget's 500, but this $2,500 camera is probably gonna be the best suited, and it's an investment. I'm I'm here to work with your budget. What are you here for? Because I know it's a struggle even just to get that 500. It's a struggle to get that 800. You know what I'm saying? And camera equipment is expensive. The best thing is to start you off with how much you can do. You make your money, and eventually you might get a bigger gig or a bigger budget where maybe you can do 2,500 for the next time you show up. But now you'll know when you come to me that I'm gonna direct you where it's not breaking your bank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you have to treat like your own business, and that's how I treat my photography. Is like, I'm only gonna honestly offer my services to people who need it, not to people who's like, oh, you need photography, don't you have a family? Like, yeah, like, if they want it, they'll reach out to it, and I'll make sure to be seen, maybe on the billboards or something, so that way you reach out voluntarily. I don't want to be the person that's kind of like forcing it in your face and whatnot, like the ads on Instagram. Jesus, like
Mhm.
like it's like a lot of unnecessary. Like I don't remember asking you to put that in my face, but okay. Um, but yeah, it's honestly it's all about pacing. It's all about patience and communication. But you need to not focus mainly on the money, and you need to focus on how you make the client feel, because if they don't like you, they will not pay you.
Because I know for me, when I was working in retail, it was sales and it was a commission. And like I said, going back to me being shy, I'm not that salesperson. So I wouldn't be like, hey, do you want to buy this purse because it matches? I would be more so like, don't buy that bag because it'll break or it'll rip easy or the rain will mess it up. Like you said, I'm more of a person. After a while, when I kind of got the hang of it, I would be like, don't buy this shoe because it's not comfortable. You may look cute, but it's not comfortable. But I would not be like, I guess, that all in your face salesperson. Like, you need help, you need help, you need help more. So just let them, walk around the store and then come back to them. And I guess it kind of hindered me in the end because I wasn't, I guess, so forceful. But I feel like I wanted to deal with the customer how I would like to be dealt with when I shop. Like when I go shopping or when I went shopping, um, I don't like somebody hovering or asking questions. I'm more so like, if I need you, I'll find you. But don't be like gone for an hour. Just, be over there and just let me know your presence is known, but don't be like, you have with this, or I can show you this, or we have this with that. I'm like, no. So that's kind of how I looked at it. But I guess you can't really deal with people in retail world like how you want to be dealt with because unless you're closing the day out with $5,000, it's not going to be it. So I had to kind of look at myself and be like, well, maybe sales isn't for me. Maybe I can be on the back end, like operations, like behind the scenes, and deal with that. So I kind of try to also not look at the money aspect. Money is nice, but for me, I try to focus on why I'm doing this and why it brings me joy and why I enjoy sharing, my little experiences on the show and my little tips on how to deal with things because that's kind of the basis of the show. It's more so before I had guests, before, I would just be talking. It would be more so be explaining my experiences, and, who I am and what this platform I'm trying to build because I'm new to this. Like I'm not really a fan of social media. I used to be just on it just to be on it because everybody's on it, but I was on like a hiatus of social media because it was draining. It was exhausting. I would just get mad and then I would just be like, forget it. I don't even want to be on here because 4 minutes will turn into 2 hours, and then before you know it, you're on Instagram for like 6, 7 hours. And all you're doing is just scrolling. You're not even using it the right way. And I guess I got frustrated when I would see, other people doing music or DJ because I DJ as well, and they would have, so many views, so many likes, so many, followers, and I would get frustrated as to like why am I not doing this because I'm on Instagram, but also I had to tweak the way I would go about it. Like if nobody knows me, they're not really going to pay attention to me. Even though the people I would follow aren't like huge, but they have a good following. So I guess I didn't really know how to like brand properly. I would just focus on why I don't have 400,000 followers, So I'm trying to like be a little more humble and just kind of like stay in my lane, but also try to also grow at the same time. I try not to be stagnant. Because for a while, I
Right.
was feeling a little just like this is where I'm going. I'm not going any higher. I'm just, Instagram hating. But I would have to humble myself and realize, it's good for them. Good for them that they have all these followers, and good for them that they're at these events and venues and things like that. My time will come. Versus, let me just block them and hate them and just be mad all the time.
Right. You know what book I recommend to you?
Yeah.
I know it probably is reverse on there, but it's the 1-page marketing plan.
Oh, okay. Who's the guy?
I don't even get paid to do all this, but he should. It's by Alan Dibb. Um, I've read this book probably back and forth, and I've also used the 1-page marketing um format, and I
Hmm.
can always send it to you one
Yeah.
and I have a session. I can explain that to you, but like having that helps you always come. You be able to come back. Like say if you take a break and you come back to it, you won't be lost. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's very easy to follow, and it helps you kind of concentrate on who your target audience is and like how
Mhm.
to approach different situations and whatnot. And if you had an assistant and they read that, they'll be able to follow that and help you out.
That is helpful. Yeah, because I kind of still don't really know how to focus on my target audience. I mean, I guess I have a little bit of an audience, I don't know, but I guess I'm just trying to post the right times and not post too much, or not just talk about random things. But and I think also I know Joe mentioned, he said it's also about the quotes, not the quotes, the hashtags that you use as well too. And I guess good content. I'm like, but I guess my stuff isn't good because nobody's watching it. But I feel like it is good at the same time because I have something to say. It may not be what you want to hear, but
You're
it's
better off, honestly, on Twitter.
really
Yeah, because Instagram has become such a plateau, and people have left and gone to TikTok.
yeah.
People have left and gone to Twitter. Photographers are going to Twitter. That's pretty much it, because there's too many censorship and getting their shit not shown. But yet there's models that are getting their stuff shown. Granted, they're probably getting hassled too, but they're getting more generic views, organic views.
Yeah.
Obviously, because the guys, they be liking their stuff.
Right.
Ladies be liking their stuff too. But it's just like photographers are there for the artwork and showcasing the stuff with no censorship. Now I gotta be mindful of that. So Twitter kind of, it's like you could post, like, say if you had a model that was nude or it's like implied and it's obviously only art.
Right.
Now you could post it with no problem on Twitter. And there's more organic views that you can have with Twitter. So I feel like
Twitter.
maybe take that approach and do tweets and then post your videos on Twitter and then see how that fares with Instagram, to be honest.
That's true. Because I feel like not that I'm not going forward on Instagram, but I feel like it's kind of just a little bit higher, but where it is, it's just random people liking stuff that people don't even know. But I mean, I guess that's what it's about. But I guess the audience I need to cater to, I guess if you say it's on Twitter, try something different just to see. Because like I said, I never really was trying to brand myself or network or content create. I was just like, it was Instagram, everybody's on it, and you just do it. And TikTok, I fell for TikTok. So I'm on TikTok now for no reason whatsoever, but I have a TikTok. But I guess
So what do you do on TikTok?
see, I try some of the trends. I try some of the dances. I just feel like they're repetitive because they're all, I scroll when I'm scrolling through the pages, the feed. It's the same thing. And I noticed, this almost sound weird, but I noticed the people who get like 10,000 likes or 1 million likes, they look botched. And by botched, I mean they look like, not like a normal person, like if you're the attractive females or the attractive guys. And some of them, not that people aren't attractive, shouldn't get likes, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain look you have on TikTok that I see people gravitate for. So I decided to just post my saxophone thing there instead because I enjoy doing that. I'm like, why am I kind of break my back to do this trend that everybody else is doing and then there'll be a new one tomorrow? Let me just do something I actually enjoy. So
you got to create the trend. That's the trick.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's true. I got to create something. So, but to your question, I'm mostly just for my saxophone. So that's fun. I enjoy doing that. And on Instagram too. I post a little bit of my saxophone. I'm slowly getting there. Not great yet, but I enjoy it. It's a fun instrument.
So you DJ and play the saxophone?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Oh, I'm a person with a ball of talent. I don't know where to put it. The world needs to see you.
I mean, I recently just started playing the saxophone because I always wanted to know how to read music. I never could before. I would just play by ear. So I taught myself how to read music over this course of the past 2 months. So I bought I bought a trumpet because I wanted to play trumpet like Miles Davis, who's my favorite. And I tried it and it was extremely hard, so I still have it. So then I bought a sax because I just fell in love with it all of a sudden. I don't know where it came from. And it's a beautiful instrument. So I taught myself how to read music. So I've been playing, songs that I enjoy, songs that make me happy. So I've been doing that. And I feel more connected to it, it's an instrument, but I feel more connected to it than trumpet. But with the music, the DJing, I always was surrounded with music growing up. My dad, he would DJ back in college and all over and stuff like that when he was younger. And he would DJ on his turntables. And I would just be fascinated by his turntables, which he still has to this day. He has 2 turntables in the garage. And I would just be, like I said, mesmerized by the records. I wish music could go back to just playing the records. I think it's a beautiful thing. The needle and the records. Not
Right.
that digital isn't fun, but I feel like you're not really DJing. You're just pressing buttons. I know that sounds. I mean, I know it's more to it, but like my dad always said back when he was DJing, you actually had to work. You weren't like talking to the crowd and bouncing around the stage. You were actually physically, you know, using your hands and your time, you know. So I would just find it fascinating that somebody could do that with two huge turntables, two huge records. So he kind of taught me. I kind of try to be like him. I try to play on his turntables. He said no, but I tried to, listen to the music, listen to the records, because I'm a big, oldies but goodies fan. I like, 60s, 70s, Motown, things like that, and 90s R&B, of course. So when I DJ, I kind of didn't do any of that. I played like trance and electronic music because I just love that fast-paced, pumping music. But you can't go wrong with house. But for me, I would get frustrated because I'm like, this is taking too long. Like, by taking too long, like I'm like, why am I not further along with it? Like, I'm one of those people who wants to do something and get it right away, which is why I stopped playing the trumpet, because I'm like, this is taking way too long. It's three little thingies. Why can't I learn it? But with the music, I enjoy it. I feel like I get lost in the sauce. It sounds weird, but you know what I mean when I play, because it's just like I don't know, like a release for me. Like I said, since I keep going back to me being shy, I feel like when I'm playing sax and DJing, I just can like just be, be somebody else, be somewhere else, just kind of like transcend into like a different experience, versus just,
Yeah.
here, you're looking at me, stop. But I don't know. It's fun. I haven't played in a minute. DJing. I need to go back, but I just been in love with the sax. So hopefully we'll see where that leads. I don't know.
You ever think about like playing a loop on the turntable and then whipping out your sax and then start playing to the music?
That was actually the goal of the trumpet. I was going to incorporate that into my song, but also make music too, as well as DJing. But I gave up on the trumpet.
I
So now,
haven't heard the sax in these songs in so long, and I feel like you could bring so much fun elements to that. Like, I mean, granted, aside from like Bruno Mars bringing that '90s New Jack swing to the mix, like I haven't heard like music like actual, like kind of
actually,
like the Bee Gees, and like I feel like kind of lost a little bit of that. So bringing that a saxophone and adding like a trap element to it, or like any modern day like bop to it, I feel like we need something sax or instrument related, not just piano.
yeah, I that was the goal. So I think I actually might do that, because I feel like it's just a beautiful thing just to create two things and make a magical thing. Because I play the guitar, but I'm not. It's still over there, but I'm like, this is not for me, but I enjoy it. And I also play the piano, but I'm like, I don't have space for the piano. So I'm gonna
So you know who 𝘂𝘂𝘂𝘂 is?
just sing. So that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, you definitely gotta check him out. He has a song called I could play that. It's like he literally plays every instrument. So like, and he names them, and it's like, yeah, I could play that. But he also like sings as well.
Oh, of course.
And the dude's like super talented, and his name is 𝘂𝘂𝘂𝘂. So 𝘂𝘂𝘂𝘂𝘂.
Okay. I'll definitely.
Yeah, dude, like phenomenal. So that's what reminded me of you. Like, yeah, I could play a guitar. I could play the sax. I'm like, oh, and I DJ. Oh, all right.
I mean, I didn't mean to say it just like a matter of fact, but I didn't mean it like that. But there's all over my house all these instruments, and I'm just not doing anything with it. That's why I said it like that. I mean, I enjoy music. It's just like I said, I don't want to say I give up too easy, but I just like, this is too hard. I want to go do something else. So then I just bounce around through instruments, and I guess that's not really a good thing, but at least during this time, I was able to explore more stuff that I didn't know I could do, like especially teach myself how to read music. I never thought I could do that. I guess I can, but I think I might take you up on that and incorporate some of the sax into my music, because it's fun. And I love creating music. I think that's a cool thing too. That's a cool thing, especially real music, like you said. I agree. I feel like nothing wrong with today's artists, but I miss like actual songs, not just trap music and just the randomness. I miss like, like the Delphonics, or who else, Marvin Gaye, or the Commodores, like stuff like that. Like I know it's like an old hit, but I guess I prefer that than this, or even like during the Woodstock era. Like Jimi Hendrix is my favorite. You can't see it, but like a huge poster here. Um, for
But I
Queen,
see Snoop though. I see Snoop.
yeah, Pac over here,
Oh,
yeah.
Pac. Oh, sweet.
Or Queen. Like Queen is just my favorite as actual of all time. Well, I lied. Okay, so basically I have like a favorite group each decade. I know that sounds weird. So it's more so like the 50s and 60s were the Temptations. The 60s, 70s was Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana. The 80s, 90s was Queen. And then like the 90s,
80s and 90s is Queen.
yeah. I know it's in the later years.
Damn, they took 2 decades. Wow.
I know it's like in their later years when they were older, but I guess I could say 79 to 90. And then like 90 to like 99 was, NWA, Zain, TLC. And then, 2000 like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. So it's
You
weird.
went
But
you went from that to Backstreet Boys and insane.
it can't go wrong with it. I know it sounds weird, but I'm like, I love Backstreet Boys. I know it's weird like that. But there's more, obviously, there's a ton more artists in there, but I guess those are my top people. So, I don't know, it's weird. Don't mind me. But in any event, yeah, I think I actually might do that. Because normally when I do my sax, because I do sax sessions, kind of not every week, but every other week, and I play a song that I learned. So this week was just my imagination, by Temptations. But I don't play with any music, it's just saxophones and instrumentals. So I think I might do that, play with a loop or play with something. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be dope. And then you could make that like I don't know, like your theme song or something like that. Or put it a song on TikTok and then have people do weird dances to it.
I, I don't really understand TikTok. I honestly didn't think I would ever be on it, but I literally just needed an effect for a video that I was trying to do, and the effect I needed was on TikTok. And then that's the end of the story. And that was like a month ago. And
It's like I only use you for one thing.
exactly. But it took over, so I don't know. But if I could have the choice and do what I do without having to use social media, I would. But this is where we are now. So I guess social media is like the core of communication. I guess. I mean, there's other ways to communicate, but I feel like social media is just what is. So I mean, I miss the days where you were actually talking to people or like networking in person. Not that you can't, but like everything's really online now. But I guess
Right.
we live in. It's not unfortunate, but it's just like I feel like it's not a lot of face to face. I feel like you have so much competition to deal with and extraness to deal with versus just like walking up to somebody and saying, "Here's my demo tape" or something like that. But I guess times are changing. So.
I mean, like I said, I always say, yeah, times change, and how I kind of get through the day. It's like it's only for the better.
That's true. That's true. The bigger picture, I'm trying to think. And plus, I always tell myself to not hate and not judge because I don't know what they went through to get there, and you should be proud of other people evolving, growing, being successful. Because you want the same, for yourself. So that's kind of how I try to look at it. I know it sounds cheesy, but the only way to kind of think about it in a healthy manner, because if you do it the other way, you're just only hurting yourself. Because the other person doesn't know you're feeling this way. They don't even know you. So that's kind of how I look at it.
That's dope.
Yeah. But I promised I wouldn't talk your ear off, but I did. So I apologize.
I didn't even notice. I'm just looking at my face and your faces.
I was trying not to like take up too much of your time. Like I said, I wanted to have more guest songs. I'm glad you came on because before it was just me just talking each week, and I felt that it was getting a little redundant. Not that I couldn't come up with content, but I feel like it's better or helps to have somebody else on because you can bounce ideas off and just like I said, let the conversation flow. So that's kind of what
I appreciate you having me on.
No, I appreciate you giving me a second chance because I know you said you only have two. So hopefully I'm not on the blacklist.
No, you good. You good.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to be on that list. I apologize. But yeah, it's my first time. I've been on Zoom, obviously, but doing it on Zoom. So I think I like Zoom better than Instagram because it's clearer. But
See, I told you.
Too much hiccups. And I like to not have the distractions of people commenting. Not that you don't want them engaging, but I feel like I lose my train of thought when I look down and see the comments. I'm like, oh, what was I saying? So this is more personal and, but I appreciate it. I think it was the other day I was talking to Joe. I was like, we got to have me back on therapy because it's been a minute. I feel like I've had more to say than back then because back then I just had the book I wrote and I was under DJ Fire back when I first started DJing. Now I'm like Lana and then all this other stuff.
I realized there was a change. I'm like, where's DJ Fire? When I was looking you up, and I was, oh shit, that doesn't exist anymore.
It does. So actually, it does. I actually didn't change it. I still under that persona, but just my music. So all my music,
Oh, okay.
DJ Fire and but I changed it on Instagram and everywhere else because I felt like I just wasn't DJ Fire because I felt like I wasn't like being that force that I should have been during that time. So I'm like, let me do something different. So I switched to Line and Pure because I felt like the path I was trying to go on was more of a spiritual, creative bliss type of thing. So that's kind of the reason why I changed it. And I kind of was like, I don't really know what I want to do yet. So let me just go over here versus like DJ Fire, where he's just like, this is what she does. She has all that. I'm not there yet. Let me kind of like find my way back to that. So I'm still going. So that's kind of really the change why I changed it. But it's still under the music because I still do music. So that's
I listen. I look forward to any new content. So if you do drop any new content, definitely share it with me so I could like post it on my IG.
Yeah, of course. I definitely will. I also work. I have graphic design artists. They do my album cover, so I'll definitely send you some of that because maybe you guys can work together. I know they're looking to expand their stuff as well too. Because I tried doing my album covers, they did not come out the way I wanted it to. So let me leave it to the experts. I always try to pass along information when it comes across it because I feel like it's always cool when two different type of creatives or two of the same type of creatives work together and make something like totally amazing versus just like me trying to do it and it comes out like why. So, but do you have anything outside of the film coming up? Anything else in the works, or is that the big project coming up this summer?
Honestly, that's probably gonna be a big project coming up. I have another project which is showcasing musicians, and that's gonna be premiering in August. I gotta put that together starting probably like this week, next week, and it's pretty much like an acoustic session of them kind of performing their music and whatnot. But yeah, I'm still mapping it out. So I had 3 artists. I already filmed them already, so that's already done. So the pilot for that is the 3 episodes of whatnot of like underground artists in Jersey, but 2 of them are from New York. So, but it's cool though. But I have the first artist, he's from Jersey. But the point is just to get enough people in Jersey, like people you've never heard of, and like that are really dope. And I want to kind of go through that, have like acoustic performing sessions with them.
That's cool. So is it like you said it's 3 episodes? Is it like a show or is it just like?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like just so it's however long their song is, that's how long it is.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Is it all different types of artists, like singers, poets?
Yeah. So right now it's been singers, and most of them, all 3 have been singers.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, all 3 have been singers. They write their music and whatnot. I do want to branch out to other artists and whatnot, but right now it seems to be just 3 singers that had like reached out, and then they were down to do it, and then that was it.
Wow, that's good. You got so much going on. I feel like all I have is just podcast and the instruments that are just sitting around.
At this point, you just gotta put them all together and just make a wall, and then take a picture of it and whatnot. Just make it an installment.
I really should be using, I guess, this time because I'm not working now technically because of COVID and all that other stuff, which is a whole nother conversation. But anyway, so during this time, I'm actually been able to do all this stuff. I should use it why I can. If I was working back when I was working retail, there's no life, you just work. I wouldn't be able to do all this stuff. So I guess not that COVID was a good thing, but I guess in a way it was a blessing to have this time to figure out what I wanted to do. And the podcast would have never happened. The music definitely would have never happened. And the DJing would have just been a thought because I really didn't start really doing it till like last May. So it kind of lighted something, I guess, maybe being home and last year was very long, and music kind of is like my escape route that I kind of go to when I'm like dealing with something. So I guess it's been a good thing, but I just feel like that fire that I had when I first started DJing kind of just, I don't know where it went. I guess I've been trying to fill it with doing these other things, podcasts,
Yeah.
saxophones, but I still feel like something's missing. Like I don't know, like, not that I want to do it, not that I'm not happy with what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm just doing it. I don't know, that sounds so bad, but I just like I don't know where that energy, that hype went when I first started. Because I watched other DJs, I look at different videos, and I'm like, I could be doing the exact same thing, but all I'm doing is just letting it collect dust. So I've been trying to figure out.
I have MIDI boards because used to produce music in 2008. So what you have to do is like, now that it went full circle, now because I always want to score. Now that I film, now I have more interest in scoring.
Hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So it might not, like, yeah, you have these skills, but maybe they haven't been useful yet
that's
to
true.
what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So say if you like, hey, I want to do my own theme song.
Yeah,
You could just
something.
be like Ryan Leslie, start pulling instruments out and start playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always good. Like say if I need a flyer, I'm a graphic designer first. I can make a flyer. Do I
Yeah.
do graphic design stuff all the time? No. It's like an instrument for me.
Hmm.
So it's like it might not be at the time yet, but I still think you always like practice and play around with certain things and whatnot. You gotta think about like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if I did the cover to this song? Like, how would it sound if I played it like this? Then you gave your instrument some purpose.
That's how I'm trying to look at it, especially with me teaching myself how to read music. I try to pick songs that are like not hard, but like a challenge. So it forces my mind to say, don't give up on this like everything else, and just push yourself and see how far you can go. And I finally got to the point where I'm not reading the music with the letters in it. I'm actually reading the notes with no letters. So I was like, well, this is fun. This is extremely long, but it pushed
Right.
me to get to that next step of saying this is not just something because I'm bored, but I'm actually doing it because I want to play music. And like you said, I want to see how this song would sound this way. Because playing by ear for so long, I would always have to just make up something on the spot and just went with it because I was like, I don't know what y'all are doing, but this is what I'm doing. So I'll catch up eventually, especially when I was in choir and music class. I would just be literally, they would have to put me on the side away from everybody else and I would just play backup. I was just like, well, okay. But I had fun. I'm like, I feel like it's better for me that way to be the outside the box thinker versus doing it like everybody else. Because I feel like that's boring, especially when I was doing drawing. I would never be like in the line. I would draw outside of the line with a person who looked different or something. Like I don't want to be the same, even though you're supposed to
Right.
be one unit in a choir. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. I will just do what I want to do. But needless
Exactly.
to say, they kicked me out the choir, but it's okay. I
It's
couldn't.
like so a short story, but I got kicked out of the choir. Long story short, I got kicked
I
out.
did. I was like, okay, fine, I'll just do this. But I will say having those classes and choir practices and doing music class and things like that kind of did help a little bit because I kind of did pick up some notes and it kind of brought up a little bit of my confidence then because like I said, I was still shy and stuff like that. But I, I don't regret what I did. I just felt like I didn't want to be like everybody else. I just wanted to play my own thing. Granted, it's a house that's to work in a band, but it's band. We're
I
not.
mean, I mean, unless they're Maroon Five. I mean, Adam Levine and the Maroon Fives.
I'm like, this is band. This is not. We're not in the competition, but I enjoyed it. I will say I enjoy music because my mom, I've been trying to get her to come on the podcast and sing, but she claims she can't sing, but she really can. I have to sneak a little video, but
Yeah,
she
you gotta definitely sneak her in there.
she has actually a really nice voice. I guess I didn't get that from them, but it's okay.
Not, you definitely do have a nice voice. I don't know about the singing. I don't think you explored that option yet.
No, I have outside of like in the car or in my room. I've tried singing um like acapella and I don't even know what it is. It sounds like not my voice. But I mean it's not bad, but it's more so like I'm one of those singers or persons who would want to sing with somebody else and the way back the background singer. Like that's how I would be. Like like you sing the whole song and I'll add some oohs and ahs like that. That's really,
Some oohs and ahs.
yeah. Because I'm like, I guess I keep going back to this, but being shy, I guess that kind of shadows the confidence you need to have in your singing. Because I feel like if I don't hit this note the right way, it's going to come out all crackly. So that kind of always hindered me because I've always did want to sing, but and be like the lead singer or whatever. But I just never could get past that. Everybody's looking at me. I may not hit this note. Now, when a song is playing, I can sing with it. But if it's like you make up this song or you write this song and then you hear it, then I can't do that. Because I actually tried. I tried going out for what was that song? What was that show? That before The Voice. What was that singing show that everybody wanted to be on?
American Idol.
Yeah, I actually tried to do that, and I actually really tried to do that. I didn't make it. I couldn't do it. I tried. I was like, this would be a great test to like say, hey, I can do it. I did it, but you know, in the room they want you to sing, and I was like, I can't do it. I literally just turned around. It was like I chickened out because I knew they would ask me to sing the song, you know, in the room and stuff like that, but I couldn't do it. But that actually has always been in the back of my mind to push me to doing things, like I said, out of the norm. But eventually I would get back into singing because I do enjoy it, especially singing with the oldie songs, like, you know, like I said, the Commodores and Blue Magic and stuff. And those are great songs to sing too. Like the real music that my mom and dad say.
Right.
So, and they're more so of the old heads. Like they don't really understand today's music. Not like this make them seem like cavemen, but they just prefer that era. They don't really like today's music. So all throughout the house, not now, but normally they'll have the records playing and things like that. But I don't know. I feel like eventually maybe the music world will go back into that era. I don't know if we'll have 9-minute songs, but it will be nice to have that Motown type of vibe back again. People actually like dressed up to the floor.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you a fan of Motown or I guess
No, I absolutely. I love old school. I love the Bee Gees. Like that
yeah,
was like my thing back in the day. So anything I had like that disco kind of happy vibe on
yeah.
that. Motown, they were killing it. So it was just like obviously Michael Jackson was one of my top tier artists. So like that was without a doubt.
Okay, so I feel like I'm not the only one who's like taking back to the '60s, but just for the music, not like that decade.
Yeah.
Just the music, because yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely the music. Definitely don't want to go back. People are like, oh, I would love to time travel. To when? It's like maybe in the when there was like dinosaurs out. That's probably the safest bet for us.
Oh my gosh, no. Well, maybe. I guess is that better than Jim Crow? I don't even know.
That way, yeah, definitely. I'll take a dinosaur before I take fucking crazy people just busting into your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll deal with the dinosaur because they ain't discriminating. Everybody getting eaten.
That's too funny. So real quick, because I know I mentioned COVID before. I know that's kind of like a not a tricky topic, but everybody has their own opinions. Are you? Are you vaccinated? Did you get vaccinated? Are you thinking of getting vaccinated? I know I've talked
No.
to people and they're like, why? I've never got a flu shot. My mom was like that too. She never in her whole life got a flu shot. She never got sick. I don't know how she did that, but she finally got vaccinated just because it just happened. But she wasn't gonna do it until like it was like mandatory or like everybody else got it, and then she wanted to see what happened. But
Right.
she said no to you're not, or no to you aren't going to go, or both.
Both. Yeah, I'm not like it's hard to explain when it's like, yo, I'm not coming off as an anti-vaxxer, but I just feel like especially when it came out, there wasn't
Yeah,
enough trial run for this to be put into my body.
yeah,
I don't want some makeshift thing just floating around my body. And there's been multiple cases where people had heart failures and all
mm-hmm.
the type of issues after taking the vaccine. That's why I opt out
Mm-hmm.
for the moment.
Yeah,
Not like
not forever.
just not forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to like, and it's not even about do your part. No. This is a personal thing because I have to live with this in my body.
Yeah,
That's it. I have the choice to do that. And if people try to come at my life, I was like, that's cool. But like last time I checked, you don't pay my bills. So, and then if I get sick and I can't work, are you gonna give me money to? So that means your opinions don't matter for me
mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I got to deal with this, not you.
After that,
That's it.
No, I respect that. I just always ask people because I guess it's different for me. I know that I had to get it, but I guess it just happened because I don't live on myself. I live with my folks who were in that age category. So I guess in the back of my mind, I was always thinking, well, it can't hurt. Not that what you're saying is incorrect about the test, which it is. I didn't really want to get it, but I was just like, whatever. Um,
Right.
People now still who got the vaccine, they are still getting sick. So I don't really think it works. You just won't die right away. You'll still get whatever. But
Oh, I'm just prolonging the inevitable,
yeah,
apparently.
for like a
Okay.
day. So I'm like,
For a
okay.
day.
But
Right. You still
yeah,
got to be safe regardless.
yeah, that's another thing too. And
That's but I just love it how people here's the dynamics, and this is where the comedy punchline comes in. We're so focused on the COVID and this, that, and the third, but most of these, about 80 to 90% of y'all are having sex with no condoms.
I thought that too, but I just didn't say it. But I did think that
So if
maybe
I see more COVID commercials than condom commercials, I'm concerned
mm,
with the just I as an overall, this STD is out there and y'all are concerned, which is makes sense, but this is also a everybody thing too. But
yeah.
I don't see anybody forcing people to wear condoms or anything. No? All right, cool. All right. I'm glad we had that conversation because
And you know,
it's just I just find it interesting. There's so many other things that they telling people to do except for that. I never went so heavy in a campaign. I've never seen a heavier campaign than COVID than I've seen with a condom commercial. Okay.
that is true. That is true. I mean, I know in class they would teach you a sex ed that everybody giggled through. You know,
Right.
you
But
try to
they always tell you that you're wearing condom to not get pregnant. They never really tell you don't wear a condom because you don't want to get STD. Like that's so babies is the ultimate STD apparently.
that sounds no, that's not funny, but that's true. No, that's true. I
Like that's your number one concern. There's so many other things that people don't list, but yeah.
so not that well, I guess it's not a bad thing because I asked my brother, he actually isn't vaccinated. I don't think he doesn't want to get it. I just think he just didn't feel like doing it. But I've asked him even up to recently, are you going to get it? He just says he doesn't know. And he lives in the city, and which is I guess slightly coming back to normal. I don't know. But he says he just wears his mask and just minds his business. I feel like if people were doing that in the beginning, I don't think we'd be going backwards. That's my opinion. If it was just you got control of the mass situation in the beginning and not doing it randomly and just saying this state does it, but this state doesn't have to, or you don't have to do this. Or even now in the back end where we lifted everything so quickly. I didn't mind it. I was excited to kind of get back to normal, but I feel like we could have at least waited until like maybe like end of August to be like,
it, it wasn't about us. It was
well,
about that people were losing money
well that's
because people weren't working.
and stop the closing businesses.
Right. So I have to roll out these vaccines and I have to force y'all to take it because I need y'all to work.
Yeah, that's true. I just wish
That's
we
why.
can push back a little bit. I'm not really,
Canada, they stayed home and they got paid to stay home.
yeah,
America's too damn cheap and they not doing it.
that's true. Yeah, I heard that. I think Canada's borders are still closed. I don't think you can get in. Or Hawaii. I think it's so much regulations to get to go over there, but we're just kind of just here. So I guess God bless America, right? As they say.
Right.
But I don't know. I was getting a little stir crazy, but like I said, I figured they would at least wait to the end of the summer because I didn't really agree with all restrictions being lifted, especially indoors, because people really don't know how to act in or out. So I don't. But I guess it's not up to us, like you said. We're just here. Fortunately, we're just here.
Right.
So, but are you in politics? Or do you not play politics? My dad always said, "We don't talk about politics now or ever." It's like, okay.
Politics is just a way to get people to be divided, honestly. They should technically just be one, and that's just to be humane.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only politics that you should really pay attention to. Um, is humanity. but we shouldn't be putting our noses in other people's business in other countries. We focus so more on other people's properties and countries, and we don't even focus on the issue in our own country. We're focused on going into space, um,
Dumbest thing.
instead of cleaning up the water that we're messing up over here. And
I don't.
there's so many things, and it's always like, what's a politician supposed to tell me, or why are we so divided into different segments of politics when all y'all should essentially have the same goal? And then there's people who on the politics on the conservative side, it's like, no, if it ain't broke, don't, then we don't have to fix it and whatnot. Everything's been fine for you.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So most of the politics have no bearing on people of color, and it took many years for us to even level the playing field. So until we get out of this as a society past colors and start looking at the skin color or nationality and whatnot, and we start thinking about humans as a whole, then I feel like politics would be interesting.
Yeah, that's a different perspective because, like I said, living in a house with my parents is a good thing. It's a blessing. Blah blah blah. Love them, yes, but they're a little bit, I don't know, jaded. Wrong word. They're just more so like follow the rules type of thing, or more so like keep your head down so you don't have to worry about anything. But I'm like, we have opinions. I have opinions. We have voices. You have a voice. I have a voice. And it shouldn't be to the point where we're scared to speak about something something that may offend somebody. When at the same time, if it was reversed, they wouldn't even think twice about it. Like with my mom, when we have conversations about Trump, she's like doesn't want to have a conversation about it loudly. She'll whisper it. I'm like, well, why are you whispering it? He's not even here. Even if he was here, you're allowed to say his name. He's not Voldemort. You can say his name out loud. But she would just be like, well, you don't know, people who are around you, what they're saying, what they're thinking. I'm like, but they don't anytime. Whoever's in office or whoever's around them, like it doesn't matter to them. So we should be able to say what we need to say without people getting offended. Of course, being respectful, obviously, but if it's something that they can't agree with, then they just can't agree with it. It's okay. We cannot agree on everything, but we should be able to have a conversation about something that's uncomfortable because they have it all the time, or they're about it, or go about it, openly, without thinking if it offends us, because they don't care if it offends us. Because to them, we're still, we're not even relevant. We're not even a full person. Still to this day, which I don't understand why people still are like that. Because, growing up where I grew up in Montclair, it's a very diverse town, allegedly. I feel like it's too crowded. But the school I went to was a private school, a Catholic, all-girl private school. So they were a little bit different when it came to diversity. I think there was maybe 2 Black people, and I was one of them. So in the whole school, I think. But so growing up in that area, and having that kind of thrown in your face, it kind of made me think like, well, am I important, or am I just important to meet that quota? I felt like I was one of those meet that quota type students, because I felt like every school I went to, there was only so many of us. I'm like, well, this is supposed to be a diverse area, we're supposed to be progressing, blah blah blah. But I don't know. To me, I still feel like we're still trying to catch up to that end line, and it feels like every time we get there, it's like 500 more steps to get there, and there's more stuff and other things, and they put out distractions and make us feel like when we have something to say, we're getting all upset and uppity, or getting extra. But it's just, we're just frustrated, and it gets to a point I feel like where we shouldn't have to always explain ourselves, or have to explain ourselves to other people about your history, our history, the history. So.
Yeah, it's definitely needed, but I always tell people that if you're a government that doesn't have nearly as many people as the people it governs, that's a very scary thought, because the moment we decide that we no longer are listening to the government as a whole, they have to subdivide us. The the moment that happens, then obviously the country will fall break, just like any other country. If the
Yeah.
government is no longer seen as the father, I would say, of,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if once you think you're a man now, you know what I'm saying, you think you're tough, then that's when they're like, oh man, we don't have no control over here. We have some problems. So it's a good thing for the government to be around, just to keep people in check, because if not, no one will stop for a traffic light. No one will follow the rules. No, everybody will be jaywalking. People will do whatever they want. There'll be no structure. So they have to subdivide us in a sense to make sure they can keep their control, because it's a thin line of integrity and not a lot of people have it. So the deterrent is, if you don't listen, then you will go here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt that.
That's it. There's your consequence, and that's the structure. And if you were to run your own, like, business, not business, but if you run your own world, you would create a government no different than we already have. Like, it's like, no matter what, we like, they could be the person that says, oh yeah, we need to do this for our people and blah blah, and they like, the person say, all right, here's the ball. They're gonna do the same exact thing. The only difference is, it might be, they might have they might be pleasant with the people.
Mm.
That's the only difference. Or you might be an asshole. Like, those are honestly the only two differences. But the structure itself is always the same, and the structure doesn't even need to be. The system doesn't need to be. It could be in place. It's just that they need to be more humane about how they do it. So if it's going to be called a correctional facility, then there needs to be programs to correct and alleviate these people and send them out on their way. But
Mm.
we don't live in a society like that, because one, we can't forgive, and because we can't forgive as humans, not yet. If someone does something that's heinous, like we're talking like wild, we're not gonna forgive that. So we rather put them away forever until they die. You know what I'm saying? And we can't just let them out in the public, because especially if the person that is still alive and they say he did all these things, and they're out here on the streets and whatnot. Now that person's like, I'm gonna do something about it. There's no justice. Like
The cycle.
this it's gonna always be like that. So that's why the system is just like, yo, there's no perfect system. No matter what you try to decide, it's always gonna be that system.
Yeah.
Unless all humans are like hive minded, and then there'll be no need for like a prison system. Honestly. But that's a whole other book. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Chapter.
That's like, sounds like the Matrix. If it, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the hive mind scenario. But other than that, that's why I don't get into politics, because once you get deep into
No.
that, and you just like, people, you lost them in the sauce at that point, because they're like, wait, but no, there's no but. Like, that's legit. No matter what if you create a government right now, it's gonna be the same thing.
Mm. It's
And
true.
yeah, and it's boring. There's a lot of paperwork involved and whatnot. People don't want to do it, but essentially, that's gonna be the system every single time.
I wish it wasn't. I wish it could be like a whole new world from scratch, but or a whole new system, I guess, in place from scratch. Or give the people like 30 days to purge. I know that's probably chaos, but that would be actually pretty
All right, systematically, if we had 1 day to purge, that would already been a problem for
well.
24 hours. And if you did 30 days,
I'll be in
there
favor.
probably wouldn't be a country left. that's
That's
too much time.
too much time.
And then for you to collectively say, all right, guys, we're gonna go back to 30 days of straight chaos, and you think they're just gonna snap back and just go back to their lives and go back to work? They already killed their boss. Like, it's like this. At that point, you just destroyed the country. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I take it back. Okay, not 30 days. Like a half a day or maybe a day, 1 day. I think people just need to release. I mean, I know it's sad. It's sad to say that would be the way to do it. Purging.
I thought that was gonna be the direction if we had the orange man in office still.
That's what I thought. I did think, especially.
I was like, because they were like, because someone said like, yo, It seems like that whole concept is not so far sketch. I'm like, listen. Y'all need to relax, because if I fucking hear the outside, I'm gonna lose my shit. All right, I already had my bag packed and ready to go. I was about to just disappear, and that was it. The moment I heard all that BS, no, thank you.
That's funny. I've actually, well, it sounds weird, but like I've pictured that day coming, and I would honestly say, what would I do if I had a day, 24 hours, or whatever? That's the same thing. To purge. I don't know what I would do. I would probably be one of those people who wouldn't even do anything different. Probably do
I
my same.
honestly just hide. I would find some place secluded. I would hide and wait for everybody to like chill out. Because how you imagine doing what you think you doing something, right? You actually do something, and then you gotta go back to work the next day, and then John's not here. You know anything about that? No, I don't know anything about that. Nope, not at all. All right. I'll see you next year. You will not see me next year. Like that's gonna happen every year. That's gonna be awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to have to deal with that. It's already awkward enough when coworkers want to hang outside of work, and now I have to deal with that. I'm good.
You're not a fan of Margarita Tuesdays or Taco
Nope.
Friday? Okay, no.
Nope. I want to see y'all outside of work. I want to just go to work and go do my thing. I mean, I had friends out from work and whatnot, outside, but that was I'm no longer there anymore. I'll be friends with you if I'm not working there anymore. Which I'm cool with you at work. You got your work friends and then you got your out of work friends. Because the problem is you don't want your in work friends to know your business.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm not trying to go to work and they're like, oh, you know what he did, blah blah, this and that. Nope. Now I have to find a whole new job. Throw the whole job away. Gotta go find another job. Not trying to do that.
Okay, I agree with that. I do, but I guess I would be like, oh, that would be nice to go out after work because I'm like, it would be fun. You can build a
Yeah,
friend.
on my last day. Yeah, I'm not coming back, guys. What? Yeah, all right, salute.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess so. So we got purge sort of happening. We know what to do. We got no Margarita Tuesdays or Taco Fridays, and the Orange Man is gone allegedly. Hopefully, he will just be a painful, long exhausted memory. That's kind of
Gone.
what I keep telling myself. What I'm hoping is actual because I'm a fan of Biden or President Biden, whatever you want to call it. But I just feel like he's taking a little bit long. Because I keep talking about, I want the student relief that he claims that he's going to do.
Oh, I'm waiting for that. I can't wait till that boop, because
Waiting.
let me tell you, could buy a house with a
Yeah, so that's the only thing I'm kind of holding to every night when he comes on. I'm screaming at the TV saying, but where's the relief? We're talking about this other mess. That's important, allegedly, but where's the stuff that matters that you promised us Black folks? So that's kind of my mantra. He's a good dude. I love Kamala, of course, but I just feel like, as usual, again, we'll be on the back burner. And yeah, but I guess we'll see. I don't know. He's trying, my mom says. I'm like, okay. But don't let these
right,
4 years go up and I'm still in student debt, then I'll be pissed. So then
it's
there
just
will
like
be like,
right. You better make it work, man. Better make it work. Better stop playing games.
but yeah, it's interesting because I normally don't get about politics, like I said. My folks are old. Maybe watch CNN and blah blah blah. But normally the conversation only goes to a point where mom's like, I don't talk to anymore. My dad's like, don't even talk to me about politics. So refreshing to have somebody, who can understand what I'm saying. Not that they don't, but parents are parents.
Yeah, I
Gotta
get it.
listen. So, but I love them and I don't mind. I In the beginning I hated, not hated. It was uncomfortable still being home, living at home at my age. But I guess they say you save, blah blah blah. But
Save. Yep.
with COVID and kind of putting everything into perspective, I'm just like, well, it wasn't that bad. Where would I have been anyway if during COVID? So I would have to come back home anyway. So I guess it's not so bad. But growing up and my younger years, in my 20s, it was just a little bit nerve wracking because I'm like, I'm past 18, past 21. Why do I still have to listen to your rules? But you know, it's all
Right.
about respect. And I was one of those people who would push the boundaries literally to like the last line to see how far I could go or what they would allow. But after a while, I just got tired and I got old. I'm like, forget it, it doesn't matter. I don't even do it.
Right.
So like I'm sleepy at 11. I'll have one drink or I'll be home by whatever. I don't even need to be out anymore because before I was a wild child, I would always want to go out because I was sheltered growing up. So I'm like, I don't want to have a curfew because being away at school, you come back home, you're like, wait, I still have a curfew or there's rules now, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of had to do that switch like, oh yeah, they are my parents and I'm under the roof for free. Let me chill. So that kind
Right.
of
He's like, I better chill.
so it was like a huge wake up call for me. I mean, I learned it late because I'm 1 7. That sounds right. So it took me a while to learn that, but it's all out of love. That's kind of how I have to look at it. They may be extra, but I guess they do have over there. Don't mind me. I can go on and on about my parents, but I do love them. I joke, but I do love them. I wouldn't trade them, I guess.
Right. Can't pick them.
Oh goodness. Well, I felt like I had something else to ask, but it just went out my brain cells. So I guess that was it.
Oh,
I'm sure it'll
sweet.
come to me, but I felt like I had something else. But if anything else you wanted to add, you wanted to share before we wrap it up? I really had something. Maybe it'll come back to me.
I think we covered a lot of
That's
things.
it. Yeah, maybe.
we had a whole episode. We had 2 episodes actually.
That's why I enjoy these conversations. Not that I don't talk about them normally, but like I said, it's better to have 2 heads, to bounce ideas off of and different opinions, different perspectives, because it makes me, look at things differently versus just like, well, this is the only way because you're only around talking to the same people, but you have a different voice, a different thought, a different avenue to go down and talk about. I think that's a pretty dope thing. Respectfully too. That's why I think it's good you can have conversations. May not agree, but it's out of respect and you give them the time to speak and vice versa. So I think that's a cool thing. Most people who go into topics that are uncomfortable, they kind of start acting weird and say, okay, forget it. Like we need to have these conversations. It's okay. I promise it'll be okay, but not everybody wants to and not everybody is mature about it. So all that to say, it's refreshing to have somebody, to talk to you about that stuff and then not bite your head on. So.
Right. No, I had a great time. Thank you for allowing me to express myself on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad. And it was actually good for me too because I did talk, but I didn't talk like I normally do. So it was nice. I kind of like calm down a little bit. But yeah, so I do appreciate it. Before you go, I meant to ask you from the beginning, just let the viewers know. I always say that at the end. I mean at the beginning, where to find you and
yes. So you could find me on Instagram, Iamzainmagazine and Iamzainstudios. I'm also on Twitter, Iamzainmagazine, and my website is www.iamzainstudios.com.
I love how you said that in the radio voice. That was cute. I just thought
right. Yeah, I always like throw that in there just to get that vibe, just like www.iamzainstudios.com. Because then you remember it. It's like there's a method to that. You remember it now.
I like that. Oh, did you create your own website? That's what I meant.
Yeah, I created my own website. Yep.
Okay, all right. Because I'm like, this is amazing. Because I'm like, I have a website, but I'm like, well, it's nothing like this. But it's a website. But
right.
I had fun. So that was a question. So you brought it back. So thank you. Okay.
No
that
problem.
concludes today's episode. Okay, I appreciate it. But thank you, Zain. I appreciate you coming on and us having this chat, this tea of smorgasbord and
stuff. Thank you again for having me on. We'll definitely talk, hopefully in person, maybe.
Yeah, next event or
right
or whatever. If you do have any more events that you guys had the other day, I would love to come. That was kind of like my first event out, so kind of.
Oh, good.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, if you are so interested in the stylist, I wouldn't mind. That would be nice to kind of get my fingers, wet back into that area because I do still enjoy it. It's just not huge, but I still love fashion. Even though I thought about it. But, you know, it's still a good thing. But if that's still a thing, I would be interested in that and what you're working on. So just let me know about that.
All right, right. I'll definitely keep you posted. I'll be reaching out to people probably like towards the end of August and whatnot.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. You have a good week. It's Friday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Friday. Yep.
Wait, what day is it?
Yeah, so we'll talk soon. Thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Peace.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is about it. I appreciate everybody tuned in, and thank you so much, Zain. I appreciate it. You guys heard him. He's on Instagram, Twitter. I am Zain Studios, and I am Zain Magazine. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great weekend, and do something today that you didn't do the day before. And this is your girl Lana, another episode in the books of Pure Session. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Have a great day.